I am SA and co-host Wren Nightingale, and we are with the Author Sesh Corner. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to go over genre and tropes and different books within those genres, and then we're going to talk about writer's block, creator's block, and kind of go over stuff on that.
Yep, and today hopefully the audio will be a lot better because last week my microphone caught SA's voice. This time I'm wearing headphones, so hopefully everything will be just fine.
Yep, I think we're both wearing headphones today.
Perfect. Alright, so...
Alright.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. So the first category we have is speculative fiction, which is a broad umbrella category that encompasses any fiction with supernatural that's what I was trying to any fiction with supernatural, fantastical, or futuristic elements that depart from our current reality. If it asks, what if, and explores the consequences, fantasy, science fiction, and horror are all major genres in this umbrella. So, I have a couple books that... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this part just because we do have a category with, like, sci-fi and fantasy and stuff. So the first actual genre is young adult, which is YA. Young adult is a age category rather than a specific genre aimed at readers roughly between the ages of 12 and 18, which that's up for
debate.
Yeah, because I feel like some YAs, which we have talked about this, we feel like some of these YAs go up to like age 20 at least too. YA stories span across all genres, YA fantasy, YA contemporary, YA sci-fi, but are unified by their focus on teenage protagonists and themes relevant to adolescence. These include coming of age, discovering one's identity, first love, friendship, navigating the challenges of growing up. Some common tropes with YA is coming of age, it's just listed. The central journey is the protagonist's transition from childhood to adulthood. Find your identity. The protagonist struggles with questions of who they are and where they belong. First love, love triangle. Navigating the intense and often confusing world of first romantic relationships is a central plot point. Rebelling against authority. Protagonists often find themselves in conflict with parents, teachers, or oppressive societal systems. Whew, some of these words trip me. The Chosen One. A common trope, especially in YA fantasy and dystopian fiction, where a teenager is destined for greatness. High school setting. The social ecosystem of high schools as a backdrop for drama, romance, and conflict. Absent or misguided parents. Parents are often physically absent or emotionally distant, forcing the protagonist to solve their own problems. I actually have one book that I'm going to add to this is ironically yours, which is Falling Forward. And I think that's the only one I really have that would fit under the YA category the best.
I think I have a few, and these are books. So, one I actually just read recently. My niece recommended this one book. Absolutely destroyed me. Like, this is the first book I actually, like, fully cried to. And I was at work reading this book, too. It's Girl in Pieces. So that one, if you really just want, like, your heart absolutely destroyed, it is a book about, like, a girl that does, like, self-harm, but she does go through, like, that big coming-of-age story. Then there was some books that I read which surprised. This is where it's debatable because they were in the young adult section when I was in high school, but they're the Ellen Hopkins books, and they're like the really yes, and they're categorized as young adult, but I feel like they're too graphic to be young adult, so I think that one's up for a debate.
I actually have Crank up on my bookshelf.
I loved Crank.
I don't have the whole set,
Yeah.
but I have Crank.
Yeah, I just recently reread Identical, and I forgot the plot line of Identical, so when I reread it, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. What else? Oh, City of Ember, which apparently they have a book too that I didn't know about. I think I remember vaguely we read that when I was in 5th grade, but I would consider that more as a young adult book, just because it is children, like, finding themselves and, like, seeking freedom and stuff, so, I don't know, but I really liked City of Ember when I reread it.
I actually have that on my Kindle.
Oh, did you read it yet?
Because I had it on my list on my Kindle. I read it back in school myself.
Yeah.
But I have not read it. Because I do the KU when it comes across, like, with the deals.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise I can't really afford another monthly payment. So I try to hit the stuff when they are throwing out the monthly or 3-month deals.
Oh, yeah, no. I think, at that point, I just went through my library, and I knew it was going to be a quick read, too. I read that book in, like, 2 days. So,
you want to take on the next one?
Yeah, I should have had this pulled up a little faster. Give me a moment. Oh my goodness. So you just did young adult. So next one would be fantasy. Mm-hmm. So fantasy novels are set in fictional universes, often inspired by mythology and folklore. The core of fantasy lies in its use of magic or other supernatural elements as a primary plot element, theme, or setting. These stories often explore epic struggles between good and evil, the nature of power, and the journey of self-discovery. Some common tropes of fantasy are, like, the quest. That one's a pretty common one, I think. So that one's the protagonist and their companions embark on a long, perilous journey to achieve a specific goal. There's the wise old mentor, which is an older, experienced character who guides and trains the hero. The Dark Lord, a powerful, malevolent antagonist who seeks to conquer or destroy the world. Magical systems, clearly defined or mysterious rules governing the use of magic. Medieval feudal setting, so worlds often resemble medieval Europe with castles, kingdoms, and knights. Non-human races, elves, dwarves, orcs, dragons, and other mythological creatures, which are commonplace. Ancient prophecies, a cryptic prediction that foretells the events of the story. And the reluctant hero, a protagonist who is initially unwilling to accept their destiny. There's also some subgenres when it comes to fantasy in their tropes, so there's high or epic fantasy. This is usually world-altering stakes, detailed maps and histories, which is world-building, clear lines between good and evil, and large-scale battles. There's urban fantasy, which is magic existing secretly in our modern world, or the masquerade. Supernatural creatures as detectives or protagonists, the clash of ancient magic with modern technology, and then finally there's dark fantasy or grimdark. This would be morally ambiguous protagonists with anti-heroes, magic that comes with a terrible price, bleak and pessimistic tone, a focus on the gritty realities of violence and power. So with that one...
I just noticed that Rain forgot to put, because Rain did all this.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he kind of forgot some under the fantasy, because low fantasy's not on there either,
right.
And neither is romantasy.
Yeah.
I think he kind of skipped over. Because regular romance doesn't even have romantasy either.
Yeah,
I should have double checked that.
That's okay. Well,
my bad.
I mean, do you want to try describing low fantasy and romantasy a little bit, just off the top of our heads?
So low fantasy is pretty much, it's got magical elements, but modern still. So it's like in between different real world and fantasy world, while romantasy is pretty much fantasy romance.
Basically, yeah.
Or at least that's how I
So I have a couple. I think I only have, I have a couple of fantasy. I think, honestly, there's a lot of books that can fall under fantasy. I think it's just like a big umbrella for everything. But the two main ones that stood out to me, So I'm a Stephen King fan. I haven't read every book, but I love when his books get turned into movies. And one that I'm really hoping for is the one that he released a few years ago called Fairy Tale. And I ate that book up. It's really good.
I thought they are making a movie on that.
They are.
Don't quote me. Yeah, while you read, I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah, no, that one, like, I think that's an over 500, 600 page book, and I read that book in 2.5 days. Like, I was so excited for that book. So that one's really good. And then, of course, I have to use yours essay, which is Fool's Haven. That one I also really loved, and I loved the story and plot, and I loved how it was set in a modern-ish setting. I really liked that. I don't think I really have anything else under specifically fantasy.
Yeah. So apparently it was supposed to be a movie, but they shifted it to a 10-episode series.
A series?
But that's all I'm finding on it.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm down for a series. I can binge a series. I'm okay.
But, I mean, other than that, there's not much more information on it.
Okay. Well, I will have to keep an eye out for a series, and I kind of hope it's a Netflix series, because that means that we'll most likely get all of it at once.
Another question. Paranormal would fall under the... Oh, wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
I believe you had paranormal, because I was about to say, with, like, detective stuff, I was about to say if you like shows, definitely, the show Supernatural is definitely, like, contemporary fantasy.
Well, I'm asking because I was gonna because I have a couple fantasy ones on here, but because I didn't triple check, because fantasy should have been a lot bigger of a section. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that paranormal falls under the fantasy category.
Yeah, you do have that for a couple of your books on here, I think, so.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with, so Heartless Hunter, which is the Crimson Moth duology by Kristen, oh my god, I can't say her last name.
Cicerelli?
Kari Cicerelli, yeah.
I don't know.
It's a romantic, historical fantasy romance fairy tale. And then I have Fae Academy for Spy series, which is Avalon Tower, Dreams of Vale, or Vale Dreams, sorry, and Lady of the Lake by C.N. Crawford and Alex Rivers. That is a new adult romantasy. And then I have Vicious Lost Boys series, which is The Never King by Nikki St. Croix, which is a dark romantasy, morally gray. And then I got one of our own, which is Tales of the Shadowfolk series, Magic Bites and Sunlight Shadow by Iris Marriott, which is a paranormal romantasy.
Which her book is next in my TBR.
Yes. I'm still working on finishing the second. So the next category is science fiction or sci-fi. Science fiction explores imaginative and futuristic concepts based on scientific and technological advancements. It often speculates on the future of humanity, space exploration, artificial intelligence, and the consequences of scientific progress. These stories could be utopian, dystopian, or simply an exploration of the unknown. Common tropes: advanced technology, faster and light travel, artificial intelligence, AI, cybernetics, and advanced weaponry. Space exploration, stories set on other planets and space stations or aboard starships. That's a lot of S's for me.
That's a lot.
I struggle with S's and S-H's. First contact, the first meeting between humans and alien species. Post-apocalyptic world, a setting after a global catastrophe has destroyed civilization. Time travel. Protagonists travel to the past or future, often with unforeseen consequences. Galactic empires. Vast interstellar governments and political conflicts. And then they actually have one on artificial intelligence, which I kind of feel like they should have combined that with technology, but sentient machines or computer programs that question their existence, moral dilemmas of science, exploring the ethical implications of technology. Notable subgenres and their tropes: space opera, tropes, grand scale, interstellar warfare, a ragtag crew on a beloved spaceship, melodramatic and romantic adventures, diverse alien species. That was a mouthful. Cyberpunk, tropes, high-tech, low-life, power mega corporations that rule over society, cybernetic body modifications, gritty, neon-lit cityscapes, hacker protagonists. And dystopian portrays a bleak and an oppressive society, often under totalitarian control, serving as a cautionary tale. Tropes, totalitarian government control, constant surveillance, a rebellious protagonist who sees flaws in society, loss of individuality.
A lot of big words for that one.
I know, and those S's, man, trip me up. So, I actually have two. This one, I am a sucker for dystopian. One is Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. That one is dystopian YA sci-fi. And the other one is City on the Sea series by Heather Carson. It's dystopian YA with subgenres of mystery, romance, science fiction, and fantasy. I absolutely devoured this series. There's like 5 books in it, and they're not long books, but man, I flew through them. Like, I got really into it. It was like a really neat series. It was very intriguing, should I say.
Yeah.
It was just one that I had owned because I really liked the look of the cover, and I'm like, man, got a really interesting take on it.
I have a few. I kind of like, I think I got confused a little bit with the sci-fi section mixed with the speculative fiction because they both said dystopian, but I think all of these kind of fit more under the sci-fi section. So all these books are books that I read in high school. I did reread one of them though, and I have the other one that I plan on rereading again. So 1984 by George Orwell. I'm sure a lot of people have read it. It's on like the banned book list type thing. Fahrenheit 451. Mm-hmm. So that one I reread, and I only reread it because there's actually a TV series. I believe, no, it's a movie. I think it's on Max or something, but I watched it with my mom, and I was like, oh, this is really good. I should reread the book. The movie is actually a lot better than the book. I'm going to be very honest. That's the first time.
It's actually on my TBR.
Yeah. And then Harrison Bergeron. It's a very short story, but I really liked that one because that one is like, what if everyone is equal? Or how do you force everybody to be equal? So that one's pretty good, I think, too. There was one other, and I cannot remember the name of it, and I just recently read it within like the last 2 years. But just like a quick synopsis, this guy is working in a research facility. Everybody dies. He wakes up with an AI in his brain, and he can literally connect to the internet. So he's able to just completely wipe himself from the face of the earth digitally. And they're trying to like hunt this guy down. And he ends up winning in the end. And he takes himself and his new wife off to an island where they're basically millionaires because he hacked the system. And they're just invisible to society.
Is there a series on this? It sounds like a show that me and husband start watching.
I don't know because I read the book, so I didn't know if there was a series on it or not. But I enjoyed the book a lot. But if anybody's listening on Spotify,
I'll look that up.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment if you know what I'm talking about.
There you go.
So now we're getting into... Ooh, horror. So this was actually my favorite section growing up. So, horror. It's fiction that aims to evoke feelings of fear, dread, and terror in the reader. It often deals with supernatural or psychological threats and explores humanity's darkest fears. The goal is to create a sense of unease and suspense, culminating in a terrifying confrontation with the unknown. Some common tropes are the haunted house, a location that's inhabited by malevolent spirits. The monster, a creature that preys on the characters, such as vampires, werewolves, zombies. Psychological horror, the source of fear is the protagonist's own mind. The final girl, the last surviving female character who confronts the killer. Found footage, the story is presented as discovered video recordings or journals. That one's, I think, the most terrifying for me. Body horror, fear derived from grotesque disfigurement of the human body. Ancient evil, a malevolent force is reawakened. Don't go in there. Characters make obviously poor choices. This is an interesting list that Rain made up. What the heck? Some notable...
I don't think he made up. I think he copied and pasted.
I mean, that's pretty funny, though. Noticeable subgenres and their tropes. So there's gothic horror, which is decaying in isolated settings, such as castles or manors, family curses, overwrought emotion, supernatural omens, damsel in distress. There's cosmic Lovecraftian horror, so fear of the vast, uncaring universe, incomprehensible alien entities, knowledge that drives people insane, cults worshipping ancient gods. And then there's slasher, a high body count, a mysterious and often mass killer, a group of teens or young adults being picked off one by one, and jump scares. So for me, I do have a few in this list. So in my list, so this one I fell in love with. I think there's 5 books in the series, 5 books. It was in the young adult section, but this is more horror-based because this was during my zombie phase. The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. So basically, there's a village deep in the forest, and all the children grow up thinking, don't go out there, you're gonna die. And they don't know why. And some children end up escaping, and they find out why. They find out why pretty fast. There's Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I will admit, I did not finish it. I literally had 10 pages left in the book, and I completely steamed out of it. That one it's more of a mystery horror, but it gets very graphic near the end in a assaulting kind of way, let me just say. So that's where I kind of steamed out at. So I think those would be my 2 most favorite horror books that I've read.
So I don't really read horror, so I don't have any books, but I have watched Dreamcatcher, which is by Stephen King, and Under the Dome, Under the Dome, though, I think is technically a sci-fi.
Is Under the Dome...
It deals with aliens.
Oh, okay, that one deals with aliens. Okay, so there was, you know those really old books that's like, you make a choice and it changes the story, so you have to like flip through pages? So there was a digital one I was reading. It was zombie-based, but, I had the characters lived like in the sewer system for hundreds of years and they didn't know why. And so, it turns out it was like, again, it's zombie related. I was going through a phase. And zombies end up getting into the town that they're in. So they have to escape and they end up above on the surface and it's covered by a whole dome. And they just see desolate, like, acreage with zombies, like, hitting the dome and everything like that. So that's kind of what I was thinking of, but I think that's a common setting, is, like, under a dome type thing.
Right quick to the... Okay, so it's not exactly what you mentioned, but, was it by chance cyberpunk related?
Oh, no, I don't think it was.
Okay, so what I was thinking of was Altered Carbon, which is by Richard Morgan.
I could look that up, but it doesn't sound familiar.
It's about a guy who was reprogrammed into someone else's body.
Oh, yeah,
And
no.
I think it's been a while since, yeah. For some reason, though, in a way, what you described made me think of that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just,
alright, well, it's
yeah.
not that.
You go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
So the next category is action and adventure, and I realize I don't really have action and adventure either, but I'm sure I can think of something off the top of my head. Action and adventure stories are characterized by fast-paced plots, physical danger, and a journey or quest. The focus is on external conflict, with the protagonist facing a series of thrilling challenges, often in exotic or dangerous locations. Stories emphasize on the journey and exploration, while action stories emphasize the physical conflict and high stakes. Common tropes. The MacGuffin trope. The plot is driven by the pursuit of a particular object, a lost artifact, a secret weapon, hidden treasure. What comes up with these names? Globetrotting. Or globetrotting. Sorry, I read that wrong. The story takes place across multiple exciting and often exotic locations. Constant Pearl. I don't know if you're reading.
Oh, sorry.
I can't talk. The protagonist is relentlessly pursued and faces non-stop threats, from chase scenes to elaborate traps. The race against time. The hero must achieve their goal before a catastrophic event occurs. Booby-trapped layers. Ancient tombs, secret bases, and villain hideouts are filled with deadly traps. The larger-than-life villain. The antagonist often has
Grand
plans for... I just ran.
You're fine. I know that's a French word.
Grand plans for world domination or destruction. The trusty sidekick. The hero is often accompanied by one or more companions who provide support, specialized skills, or comic relief. I can't today.
Okay. You said you have some action adventure, right?
I don't.
Oh.
And I was rushing to try and get what I could up because I was running out of time.
Yeah. I think what I would have to say then is Fairy Tale by Stephen King and Forest of Hands and Teeth. Even though they're both under different categories, those are both also action and adventure because they are traveling and they have to fight things.
I would say my book Fool's Haven would fall under adventure because it's a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Shield of Sparrows, I know that's more like a romantasy, but they do travel and stuff. I feel like that's kind of a adventure, and there is action, so that would be considered like a fantasy adventure.
Yeah.
An action adventure. Yeah, that's all I can think of the top of my head right now. I mean, a lot of things could actually fall under them.
Exactly, yeah. So I think like a lot of fantasy books could also be described as action and adventure. Okay, so I believe our next one is mystery and thriller. Yes, so mystery and thriller are genres that are built around suspense, intrigue, and the solving of a puzzle, most often a crime. The reader follows a protagonist as they uncover clues, navigate danger, and race against time to uncover the truth. Thrillers focus more on high stakes and physical danger, while mysteries focus more on the intellectual puzzle. Some common tropes are the whodunit. The central plot revolves around identifying a culprit from a group of suspects. The hard-boiled detective, a cynical, world-weary private investigator. The red herring, a misleading clue intended to distract the reader. The unreliable narrator, the storyteller's credibility is compromised. The plot twist, a surprising turn of events that changes the story's meaning. locked room mystery, a crime committed in a seemingly impossible location, and the femme fatale or homme fatale, a seductive character who leads the protagonist into danger. Some notable subgenres and their tropes would be like a cozy mystery, so an amateur sleuth, often with a hobby with baking or knitting, a small town setting, minimal gore or violence, a quirky cast of recurring characters. Hard-boiled would be a gritty urban setting, a cynical and tough professional detective, systematic corruption, sharp and witty dialogue, and then there's psychological thriller. Focus on the protagonist's deteriorating mental state, gaslighting, paranoia. The threat is often internal or perceptual rather than purely physical. So I don't read too many mystery books, but there was one I read, and I was searching for like a good 30 minutes. I could not find the book I was looking for, but it's I would have to say it was written in the 90s by a British author, and it revolves around this detective in England, or UK I should say, who is not really liked by anybody because she's not very like social. She's kind of like, she's the hard-boiled detective. She just kind of like doesn't care about other people but herself. And she gets tasked with this murder that they just cannot figure out who it is. But the book starts off with the person unaliving somebody. And so you're trying to figure out like who this person is. I'm not going to give too much away, but basically they're searching for one person when they should actually be searching for another. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, it starts off with the antagonist like singing a song, and they are doing doctor-like things to their, what's the word I'm looking for? To their victim. So, the detective's trying to figure out what's happening. I cannot find the name anywhere, so, but it was really good.
So I have a few. I have Keep It in the Family by John Mars. That one was messed up.
Ooh.
The Ella Dark series by Blake Pierce. It's a suspense thriller mystery. There's like 30 books in this series, so like it's long. Unquiet Bones, A Flicker in the Dark, God of the Woods. Like, there's a lot. I'm a big psych thriller reader. I love all the detective books. Gray After Dark. A lot of the Fridas and John Mars. Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm like, wait a minute. So, romance. This is I don't usually read straight romance, but, the primary focus of a romance novel is the development of a romantic relationship between two. These stories explore the emotional journey of the characters as they overcome obstacles to find love and a happily ever after, or at least a happy for now. Common tropes are enemies to lovers, two characters who initially dislike each other gradually fall in love, friends to lovers, lifelong friends who realize they have romantic feelings for each other, fake relationship, choosers pretend to be in a relationship only to develop real feelings. Forbidden love. The couple's relationship is opposed by external forces. Second chance romance. Former lovers reconnect and get a second opportunity at love. The meet cute. An adorable, often humorous first meeting between the main characters. And grumpy sunshine. One character is perpetually grumpy while the other is optimistic. Notable subgenres and their tropes: contemporary romance, tropes set in modern day workplace romance, small town settings dealing with realistic modern day issues. Historical romance, tropes often set in Regency England, dukes and debutantes. Marriages of convenience, navigating strict societal rules, high stakes scandals. Paranormal romance. Oh, there was a paranormal one here. Tropes, one or more main characters are supernatural, vampires, werewolves, fae, fated mates, soulmates, hidden supernatural worlds. So I take that back. I overlooked it. Dark romance, tropes, an anti-hero or villain as love interest, themes of obsession and possession, taboo relationships, morally ambiguous situations, and a focus on intense power dynamics. So I have one that's going to fall under this, and historical and historical romances in both. And would be Frozen River by Ariel Lawhone. That was a cute one. I wouldn't say cute, but it was interesting. We did it for book club. I know not a lot of people were huge on it, and I'm not really a historical romance person, or not romance, but historical person. But there was romance in it. And then I have In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. It's a contemporary military romance. And then Magic Bites would fall under this. And then Funny Story by Emily Henry. That is a rom-com. I dreaded actually reading that because I'm really not into the whole like reading just straight romance stuff. But it actually was I got very into it. I liked it a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. I'm not really into straight romance either, so I didn't really put anything down just because it's not my cup of tea. Normally there has to be other elements in it. Like when it's just like, you know, like I feel like the common trope with romance that I see, like from, like for example, my boss really loves reading romance, and when she talks about books, I'm like, oh, they kind of all sound the same. So I don't really.
Frozen River. Yeah, Frozen River and Funny Story were both book club books, so I really didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I did, but I still read them. I wanted to see, like, with the whole Fourth Wing thing. Okay, so I'm okay with Fourth Wing, but I cannot stand her writing in Fourth Wing. So I wanted to see how her contemporary romances were, because all her romances are contemporary military romances. I definitely prefer her contemporary over the Fourth Wing, just because the writing style is so drastic between the two. I couldn't stand how she wrote Fourth Wing. Now, I'm still gonna read when the next one comes out, obviously, because I have the whole set, and I've read it. And I do like it, but I struggled with her writing style.
Yeah.
But I would say In the Likely Event was probably my favorite books by her.
Okay, I'll have to put that into my list then and see, because I never read Fourth Wing. It's one of those books that I feel like it gets talked about too much, and so I'm kind of one of those people that's like, oh, it's popular, I'm not going to read it. I don't know.
Yeah. Field of Sparrows, I really do recommend you read that. That one started getting popular.
Mm-hmm.
My first boyfriend's in that one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So next one, I only have one book in this area. So this is historical fiction. Well, I think it's one book. So historical fiction is set in a recognizable period of the past. While the main characters and their personal stories may be fictional, the setting and historical events are based on reality. These novels aim to capture the spirit, social conditions, and details of a specific era. Some common tropes would be real historical figures as characters, so famous people from history interact with fictional protagonists. Forced gumping. A fictional character is present at and influences key historical events. Oh, okay, I see. War and conflict. Stories set during major wars, exploring the impact on soldiers and civilians. Social commentary, using the past to comment on contemporary social issues. Period-accurate detail. A strained focus on the authentic language, clothing, and customs of the era. And romance across social classes, a love story between characters from different societal ranks. So notable subgenres and their tropes. So there's alternate history, which is a point of divergence, where historical changes exploring the what-if consequences, often used to examine our own timeline. There's biographical fiction, a fictionalized telling of a real person's life, imagining their internal thoughts and private conversations, blending no facts with narrative storytelling. Then there's historical mystery, which is a detective solving crimes using the methods and technology of the era, social and political issues of the time period forming the backdrop of the crime. For any of you listening or watching on YouTube and you hear the bloop sound, my Discord's going off. I tried muting it. I apologize. Please ignore it. where is my list? Where did
It's both of ours because
Oh, okay.
mine's going off too.
So I stated that I kind of have like, well, okay. Let me backtrack really quick since we just did romance. I actually did have one romance, but I'm also going to put it under historical fiction. And that would be More Than a Best Friend. So this one is a lesbian romance / historical fiction because it's based in like the... I don't want to say Victorian, but I think that's the time period it's supposed to be set in. I could be wrong though, it could be much later than that. But yeah, so I'm going to have to say More Than a Friend by Emma R. Albin, which she has a second book now, which is based on the two girls' cousins, and that's a gay fiction romance, so I want to read that one. And then the other one that I'm like historical fiction, because it was based in 1964. It's called The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards, and that one I read for a high school essay, and I actually loved that book so much. There's a movie on it too, and the movie did the book justice. So if you don't want to read the book but you want to watch the movie, it's the same. There's not much that has been changed at all. So that one was very good.
So I have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which is a historical fiction, and then Frozen River would fall under this one too. They're historical. I haven't read the books yet, but Outlander would fall under.
Yeah, I heard Outlander was really good.
Alright, the next one is magical realism. Magical realism blends a realistic view of the magical and fantastical elements, which are treated as a normal part of otherwise mundane setting. Unlike fantasy, the magic is not explained and is accepted as ordinary by the characters. Common tropes: the mundane and the magical, fantastical events occur in realistic everyday setting. Explain phenomena. Magic is never explained and is integrated seamlessly into reality. Political and social critique often uses magical elements to comment on social or political issues. On linear timelines, time may flow in strange ways with events from the past, present, and future mixing. So, the book I think that we're getting that for book club this month, it's called The Night Circus. I'm pretty sure that falls under the non-linear magical realism. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it's very great. I don't really have any books besides that one that I've read, but I have read a fan fiction that would be under the whole unexplained phenomena and mundane and the magical. It was ironically a fairy tale one.
Of course, I have to agree with you on that one.
I'll have to send you the name of it because you might like it, but they're never gonna finish it.
Oh.
She publicly announced she has no desire to finish it.
No.
And it sucks because it was really, really, really good.
Oh, I hate it.
It was one of my favorites.
Alright, so the next section would be nonfiction. So nonfiction is a broad category of literature based on facts, real events, and real people. Its primary purpose is to inform, educate, or persuade the reader. Subgenres and their elements. Biography, autobiography. So that would be tells the life of a story of a real person, either by the subject themselves, which would be an autobiography, or by another author, which is a biography. Good to know, because I did not know the difference between those two. Those elements would involve chronological storytelling, reliance on primary sources, letters, journals, or interviews, or historical context. There's memoir. Can Discord please calm down? There's memoir, which is focuses on a specific period, theme, or series of events in the author's life. This would involve a more personal and emotional focus on than autobiography, a narrative structure or reflection on the meaning of events. History, summary would be documents and analyzes past events, societies, and cultures. These would include thesis-driven arguments, analysis of primary and secondary sources, focus on casualty and significance. There's true crime. Is Discord going off for you too? Because that is crazy right now.
What do you mean?
The beeping doesn't stop. It's like bloop, bloop.
What
bloop.
beeping?
For my Discord. Discord is like constantly going off, and I thought I turned it off, but it's like worse now.
Is it from people messaging you?
I don't know. I have our thing right now full screen, so I'm not even like looking at it. So true crime, which are documents and analyzes real-life crimes, often with a focus on the investigation and legal proceedings. These include detailed accounts of the crime, exploration of the perpetrator's psychology, examination of the justice system's response. There's science, which explores scientific principles, discoveries, and theories for a general audience. These include use of analogies and metaphors to explain complex topics, profiles of key scientists, discussion of the impact of science on society. So basically imagine articles if you have to research something for an essay. And then there's self-help and how-to. These provide guidance and advice on personal development, mental health, or other life skills, such as self-help, or offers instructions on specific tasks, such as how-to. These are actionable steps and exercises, inspirational anecdotes, clear and direct instructions, and a structured framework for improvement. So, I have a couple book on my list, and one of them people might hate me for it, but I'm gonna read it anyways. So the first one is Educated by Tara Westover, which is a memoir. It was my first memoir I actually fully read, and I loved that book. So I definitely recommend it. And then the only reason why I read this book is because I watched the movie first, and I had no idea who this person was, but I put down Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. I'm not going to say anything political, I'm just going to talk about the book. That book was really good, and I thought it was really well written, and I thought it had some insight as to what people consider to be a hillbilly, because I was just like, oh, hillbilly just like lives in the slums or whatever, but there was a lot of insight as to what that actually was, and it really gave me a whole different perspective on like that type of culture that those people live in. So I actually did like those two memoirs.
I don't know what it would fall under, but Girl Wash Your Face is one that I read. I'm pretty sure it might be a memoir.
That title
It's been
crazy.
a while since I, you never heard, Rachel Hollis, I think is her name.
It's called Girl Wash Your
I
Face?
could be wrong. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and you had the name right.
Okay, cool. I have that book. Yeah, it really like, so, it's kind of like a self-care type of book.
Yeah.
So she actually got palsy, I think, in her face is what it was because of the extreme stress she was under. And just like how stress and life can really affect you and your health and stuff like that.
Yes.
By the way, it was the other group. You know how Sir Bob likes to write person and enter.
Yeah.
It was him.
I figured.
I have the group muted, so. Not calling you out or nothing, Sir Bob. But I'm calling you out.
Just a little bit.
So, the next one, the other literary forms. Category includes forms of literature that are defined more by their structure and format than their specific genre. Content, poetry, summary, verse, and rhythmic writing that uses figurative language to evoke emotions and imagery. Elements, meter and rhyme, stanzas, metaphor, and simile, focus on sound and rhythm, concise and evocative language. Novels, comics with longer narrative and more complex storylines, often presented in a book format. Elements, sequential art panels, interplay between text and image, visual storytelling, character design, lettering, and sound effects. I think light novels should be under this too.
Yeah.
So, poetry. I don't really... Where'd the Sidewalk end? Isn't that a poetry book?
I believe that one is it's like a children's poetry book.
Yes, that's the only one I can think of that comes time for that. And comics, I guess manga. I don't really read too much manga, but I have read Servant, and I want to read the light novel of the Apothecary series, but I haven't really messed too much with that kind of stuff.
I do have it's a manga, but they also have side stories that are young adult mini novels. So I put it in, and it's called the Chibi Vampire series. The anime did not do it justice at all, because I feel like there's so much more that could have been done with the story. I feel like the anime got rushed. But if you're not into manga, but you still like words that with books, if you still like books with words that have maybe a picture at the start of a chapter, they do have the really short like novels, so that one's still good. You're not missing out because they kind of recap of like what's happening. So that one I highly recommend.
Okay, well that's the end of genres and tropes. So writer's block is a common experience where writers face difficulty in generating new ideas or continuing with their writing, often resulting in a slowdown or stop. It's not simply a lack of skill or commitment, but rather a state of mental or emotional blockage that prevents the flow of words. This manifests as an inability to start writing, getting stuck on a particular part of a project, or feeling uninspired or unmotivated. Inability to write. Writer's block is characterized by struggling to produce new written material to continue with a piece of writing. Creative slowdown. It can lead to noticeable decrease in the writer's creative output or a complete halt in the writing process. Mental and emotional state. Writer's block is often linked to psychological factors like anxiety, fear of failure, or lack of motivation rather than lack of writing ability. Can be temporary or long-lasting. Some writers experience writer's block for a short period, while others may struggle with it for weeks, months, or even years. Common causes: lack of motivation, feeling uninspired or unmotivated to write, potentially due to a burnout or a lack of passion for the topic. Fear of failure or criticism. Writers may feel pressure to produce perfect work or worry about negative feedback, leading to self-doubt and hesitation. Distraction and procrastination. This is me. Being easily distracted by other activities or tasks, or procrastinating on writing can contribute to the problem. Perfectionism. Seeking for flawless writing from the start could be paralyzing, leading to a fear of making mistakes. Feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes writers might have too many ideas or too much research, making it difficult to know where to begin or how to proceed. Lack of clear goals or direction. Not having a clear understanding of what needs to be written or what the desired outcome is can lead to confusion and frustration. Addressing writer's block. Identify the root cause. Understanding the specific reasons behind the block can help in finding the solution. Taking breaks, like stepping away from writing for a while, can help refresh the mind and restore motivation. Try different writing techniques. Experiment with free writing, brainstorming, or outlining to find what works best. Change your environment. Writing in a new location or setting can spark creativity. Seek inspiration. Reading, listening to music, or spending time in nature can help overcome creative blocks. Focus on the process and the product. Remind yourself that writing is a journey and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Talk to other writers. Sharing your struggles with other writers can provide support and encouragement. Ways to overcome or bypass writer's block. Move on from the thing that you are struggling with, or move on with the next chapter if you know how you want to move forward. Read a book in the same genre or a similar vibe to see if you can strike some inspiration. Try a short story or something completely different. and try to make a game out of it. Your example, you did D&D rolls, different scenarios, and whatever you rolled, you made it work.
Yes.
I always like to do things that are pertaining to what I'm writing. So, like in my book, they do a lot of traveling. They travel through like a lot of like wooded areas and stuff like that. So, like when I'm on trails and I really love hiking, doing that kind of stuff helps spark different inspirations and stuff. But yeah, I also have came across an article. I don't remember what it all said, but a woman said that writer's block is not a real thing. It's just something that that is said, because I forgot how it was worded.
Is she or is the article trying to state that it's more of like a mental state? So you're letting yourself fall into that. I have heard
pretty much.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but I think it's agree to disagree type thing, because yes, it is a mental state, but that's literally what writer's block is that you're in a mental state of like, I don't know what to do, or I can't do this, or I'm too overwhelmed. Like, yeah, so it is technically a mental state. That is still correct, but it's preventing you from doing what you want to do for the time being.
Yeah. But that is it.
All right.
That's all the paper.
Yeah. So don't forget to subscribe. If you want to comment, you are welcome to, even if it's just saying hi. We do try to upload every Sunday. I believe next week we will be interviewing Kate, correct? Sunday?
Yes, and that will be exclusively on TikTok.
Yes, so follow us
for anyone that has TikTok. So right now you can follow both of us, which mine is s.a.len.author, and she is Nightingale, right?
Yes.
.author.
Yes, Nightingale.
And then we do have a TikTok handle for our podcast. Can't do any lives on it right now because it's too new. But go ahead and take a follow. It is...
I got you. It's the.author.sesh.corner.
Yep, and you can find it on either of our following.
All right, well, we will see you guys next Sunday, and we hope that you have a good week.
Yep, see you later.
Bye-bye.